Welcome to My Long Island TV. From Manhasset to Montauk, we have traveled our communities to bring you the following events. I'm your host, Waldo Cabrera. My Long Island TV starts now.
We actually were in the wax and candle business. Started in 1852. It's a family business.
We are located on over 16 acres. We have over 60,000 square feet of production area.
When you tell people that you work in a candle factory, they just assume it's where you're working in your garage pouring candles or something. They don't realize how big it is. But we can actually store over 1 million pounds of wax here. We make over 2 million candles a day. And we make over, 8 or 9 different types of candles, and there's a large variety of candles that fall into each group. This machine behind me is a granulator. My grandfather, Joseph Koster, actually invented it. It actually takes liquid paraffin wax, it sprays it up into a cooling chamber, and as it falls onto an air bed, it turns into a consistency like sand or sugar. We then take this and run it through our hydraulic presses, which is how we make the majority of our candles. We actually take raw wick, which comes in like this, which is just like string or yarn, and we actually run it through this wick waxer here, which puts a thin wax coating on and makes it rigid enough to run through the candle making equipment. This is our tea light line. This machine can actually run about 30 to 35,000 pieces an hour. What happens is that the granulated wax comes in, it falls into these lower cylinders here, and then the bottom tooling, the top tooling and the bottom tooling then press it into a solid tea light, like this. This process allows us to produce much greater pieces at a quicker time period than pouring candles the way it was traditionally done. After the tea lights are pressed, they then come to the wicker, which is this machine. They fall down here, and they go through this wheel here, which then inserts the wick and the clip, and then actually physically pushes it into the tea light cup, where you then end up with a finished tea light. They're accumulated, and they're sent to this packaging machine here, which uses a vacuum suction to actually pick up 50 tea lights at a time, and then it breaks it up into the different boxes and puts in enough layers so that you have 125 in each box. This is a 4-cylinder press. It presses 4 candles at a time. It uses the same process as the other machines that we have here as well. It takes the granulated wax and then it presses it into a solid. Right now we're doing a 2-inch floater candle, but it can do 2 inches, 2.5, and 3-inch diameter, and up to 12 inches tall. They then come to the dipping machine here, which goes through several different stages. The first one is called the pre-dip. It's just a superheated paraffin wax. It actually will melt off any loose granules or any imperfections that are left on the candle from the pressing process. It then comes through to the color dip station. Right now we're just doing white, but if you were going to do a color or a fragrance, this is where it would be introduced. And it goes to the base melting station here, which just melts the bottom so it's completely flat so it stands up straight. This is one of our votive lines, and this machine is actually capable of doing about 5,500 pieces an hour. After the pressing process, it then goes to the machine, which is the Wick Inserter. It actually puts the wick in, then puts a metal sustainer on the bottom and cuts it to length. If we wanted to make a scented or a colored candle, what we would do is we would actually color and fragrance the granulated wax like this. Right now we're running an ivory candle. And it goes through the same exact process, except in the end you end up with something that's colored and scented as opposed to just a white unscented candle. We also do waxes for several other industries. We have done beeswax, we do wax for paper coating. We also do duck wax, which is used for defeathering chickens and ducks. It's a slab machine. What it does is it takes liquid wax, it pours it into these water-cooled frames, and you end up with an approximate 11-pound slab of wax. This is our fill line where we do container candles. Basically, you can do all different sizes, all different heights, different diameters. What we do is we load them at the front of the line. They come through these fill heads over here, where then the liquid wax is actually injected into the container. We then wick them. They go down the belt a little bit further, and as they cool, we then label them and package them. This is how the majority of candles typically were made a long time ago, was being poured with liquid wax. But there's a lot more labor than the process that we use now. It ends up slowing down your production by quite a bit as well. Another one of the products that we make are wick clip assemblies, which are used in our fill line, and also we resell them to other candle manufacturers. What this does is it takes the clips, it pushes the wick through, and it cuts them to different lengths. Depending on the type of candle and the height of the candle, you can make all different heights and different wicks.
I think the fact that we're a fifth family generation company really has a lot to say. It's really rewarding, the fact that we can keep the family business going.